I'm getting money, you see me. Stack it up to the ceiling. If you're looking for me, you know just where to find me. I'm on a pod with TC, with TC. Oh, I'm on a pod with TC, with TC.
All right, welcome. This is Financial Literacy with TC. I'm your boy TC. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me. There's so many podcasts out in the world you guys could choose to tune into, but you always choose to tune into mine, and I'm so appreciative of that. Today, I am super excited to have a phenomenal woman, a phenomenal guest. But before I give her introduction and her flowers, I want to make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share to the podcast. Again, this podcast is about Black representation. We talk about finances. So whether you're a business owner, entrepreneur, executive director for a nonprofit, or if you are a W-2 9-to-5 employee, doesn't really matter. Finances are so pivotal, and we always want to see Black representation when we're talking about money. People who look like us having these conversations about wealth instead of us looking outside of our community. So definitely tap in, tune in, and like, subscribe, and share to the podcast. So this week I have my beautiful guest sitting to my right. She is a phenomenal woman. Her name is Angelica. Did I get it right? Okay.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, Angelica Grant. She is the founder and owner of Prestige Professional Cleaning, LLC, a full-service commercial cleaning company based here in Pittsburgh, PA. She, after spending years of honing her own business in 2018, is when we started, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. I always got to fact check myself. Angelica turned her long-held dream into reality by launching her own business. Her company specializes in providing tailored cleaning solutions for property owners, managers, businesses across the Greater Pittsburgh area. She's from the Hill District. Shout out to Hill.
Yes. Heavy Hill.
Under Angelica's leadership, Prestige has become known for its intention to detail, responsive service, commitment to quality. The company offers a range of services, including move-in, move-out cleaning, workplace maintenance, construction cleanup, and COVID sanitation, all customized to meet clients' unique needs. Angelica's passion extends beyond cleaning. She's dedicated to the community empowerment and job creation. Her journey from inspiring entrepreneurs to successful business owner is a testament to resilience, vision, and the power of believing in oneself. So without further ado, I hope I did her justice. She'll let me know if I did. Miss Angelica Grant, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Good. How'd I do?
You did wonderful.
Okay. So as you guys can see, Prestige Professional Cleaning, follow on Facebook, like, subscribe, and share. I always tell my guests, when you're on my platform, I always want to make sure when you're posting, when you're telling people about what's going on with the business, at the very least for our community, I always want to make sure I'm letting people know, reaching out to people in my network and contacts to help, boost up your business and get more exposure. Because at the very least, we understand what's going on in this world and in this country. And if we're not looking out for one another and trying to help one another thrive and grow, what are we really doing? We're setting ourselves back years, decades, centuries. And I just want to be, I want to be the solution to the problem and not part of the problem. So all that being said, thanks for joining me. So let's dive right in. What inspired you to create Prestige Professional Cleaning, LLC?
One of my mentors inspired me. He always instilled in me. He kept instilling in me, you can do this, on your own. Right. I worked for a local company years ago doing cleaning with him, with his company. And I also worked down PPG. Okay. And so I did cleaning on my own. I knew how to detail. So that's how I was able to, provide the training to my staff because that's how I clean. And so what inspired me was Mike Harris with his cleaning company. Shout out to Mike Harris. And, he always instilled the positive in me and taught me how to strategize my business with, the contracts and everything. Right. And this is before I even actually had a business. Okay. And so when I had the opportunity, that's when I stepped out I was burnt out in the healthcare field, and I stepped out and just did it literally.
Right.
Got my LLC and resigned.
That's what's up.
But I wasn't aware of everything that I had to do. I just thought that I had to just go and it was just going to fall out the sky.
Right. So is it safe to say you were doing, you're in the medical field and it was kind of like you couldn't see yourself doing it for that much longer and you really wanted to find another niche? Is that fair to say?
And also, too, my passion is to serve. People, but that capacity I was burnt out in.
Yeah.
And so I realized I still would be servicing people, but in a different capacity.
Right. Yeah. And burnout is very real.
It's real. And it can take years.
For sure.
It can take years to get yourself together.
Right. And, for those who follow me, I had a life in corporate banking, corporate America. And while I loved aspects of it, for me, the burnout wasn't really even anything physical.
It'd be the people.
Yeah.
It's the people.
Right.
It's the people. It ain't the work.
Right.
I can run circles out here. You just want to work. It ain't the work. It's the people.
Yep. It's the, the gaslighting. It's the internal racism, discrimination, whatever you want to call it. Shoot, there's a lot of that going on.
They want to tell you your capacity,
right?
Which you capable of doing.
For sure, putting limitations, not giving you your just due, your worth. I experienced all that, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So I love that. It took you years to build up your confidence. You said to start your business.
It took me years because the dream. I thought of the dream back when I was in my 20s, my early 20s.
Right.
And so, but there were only, to me, there were only franchises around. And I didn't have the confidence then either.
Right.
So that too stopped me. But, the dream set in years ago. This has had to be like, I can even go back to 18 years of age.
Right.
Like I was like, I wanted to have a cleaning company.
Love that.
And so the time just came and I just like really did it. So I'm going to say it was years.
Okay. So those early experiences with another cleaning company kind of helped give you your confidence to go off and branch on your own. Okay. Just talk about a little bit of what got you into, while you were doing the early years of your cleaning, what got you into like, I'm going to do all these different services that you provide?
Actually, with the COVID, we had no choice.
Okay. In order for you to operate.
We had no choice. And so that's how I seen it.
Right.
I seen it as an opportunity also. An opportunity to learn the disinfect, how to disinfect and how to prepare and how to, create the package for the customer and the customer's needs.
Right.
Because, some things be like handbook. And my grandma used to always tell me that I don't cook like that. And so once I learned being a business owner and everything, I learned that some things that you learn in the book, but you have to wiggle it and put your own spin on it.
Right.
Because, they was telling me when I was getting trained to just go in and spray.
Yeah.
And so
the very bare minimum.
Yeah, you just when you do the handbook, you just go in and spray with your machine. And what I found was that's not just it.
Right.
You have to go in, you have to clean, then you spray, and then you wipe. And then you this, and so.
No, and I love that. So if I'm trying to paint a picture of the transition from 2018, you start your business, you come out, you get your confidence to start and go. So that's what, maybe 2 to 3 years before COVID actually happened. So what was like the biggest?
Well, my first year, I didn't do nothing. I learned quickly. I had a business strategist, and my business strategist said he did appointment for me at Coverall, and he said you go to Coverall and you come back and tell me what you was gonna do.
Right.
So when I went to Coverall, I had my meeting. It just didn't sit well with me.
Right.
To me, it was robbery. Everything was, you was basically paying to be a boss.
Right.
That was my outlook on it.
Right.
And so, and I always tell people my story. Thank you, Miss Deborah, my girlfriend
Shout out to Miss
Shatisha.
Deborah.
Miss
Shout out to Shatisha.
her aunt. We was vacationing in New Orleans. Now, mind you, I said I had my LLC, and I literally just resigned. 'Cause I'm thinking this is how it go, right? But I needed a break anyway at the time because, like I said, I was burnt out. And so we was vacationing, and Miss Deborah, she's a franchisee, but it's working for her.
Right.
You know, I think she's going on 20 years actually.
Oh, wow.
And so she said, I got something for you.
Right.
We was in the Airbnb. She said, I got something for you. She said, I can't do it, but I got something for you. Yeah. And she gave me the information to Riverside Center for Innovation.
Yes.
And
shout out to Juan Garrett.
Yes. Yeah. And yes, because Juan puts up with me. I love Juan. We got our own relationship.
Right.
And so she said, I got something for you. Right. And so I signed up and I started BizFit. I think it was October, and that's when the work began. Yeah. Because I had a business strategist, and this is what I tell people. You can pay people to do the things for you, but you also still need to know what to do. Right. When I went to BizFit, I had my business plan. I had my capability statement. I had my business resume. Yeah. But you still need to know how to do it. Right. You still need to know how to do it. Right. And so I had started BizFit. I can't remember how the tiers go because I done did it so many times. I even went back and got refreshed. I love
that. And that's building up your business acumen, which I wish more people would do.
So I can't even remember. And I was thinking about going back.
Yeah. So I know there's tier 1, BizFit, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Okay.
And one of them was the construction.
Oh, nice.
BizFit that I was encouraged to get into, but I did all the steps and some, the workshops, you name it.
Yeah. No, and that's awesome because that gives you, like I said, again, the business acumen to be able to hone your craft. A lot of times people just think, oh, I have the best, let's use catering or food. Oh, I have the best mac and cheese, or I have the best this, best that. And they think that's all they have to do is like, no. There's a level of experience. There's a level of customer service, professional. There's a whole bunch that goes into being successful at business. Just having the best this or the best that ain't going.
Yeah, so that's what I tell people. If you see me, winning, know that I deserve it. I earned it.
Yeah,
I earned it.
Facts, for sure.
And so I took all the classes, and I didn't get my first opportunity with cleaning until that April. Okay. 2019. Gotcha. I got my first complex.
Okay. And then I think COVID really hit, like maybe going into the spring of, I thought it was the spring of 2020, and then it didn't hit like its peak.
It was,
yeah. Yeah. Because I remember I was in banking at the time, fresh getting into it, and then we was like, oh, hold up. We going, they shutting stuff down. Because we were in the banking industry, we were given like we were like on the, have to operate list. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but so like medical professionals, all the emergency businesses or organizations had little passes where you can drive around while there was a lockdown. And
I was still working in the nursing homes and the outbreaks and everything as well.
Yeah. So what was that transition like from, because now you were operating one way and you, like you said, it was unprecedented. So what was that transition like for you, and where did it involve, I don't know how many staff members you probably had at the time?
I would be out there doing it myself sometimes.
Gotcha.
In the suits and everything. Okay. I had a few.
Yeah.
I just had a few at the time, like two employees at the time.
Because then, that was an adjustment for not only businesses but people in themselves. So you might have employees like, hey,
and we had to get we had to get documentation from the city to be able to move around and everything.
Yep. So that was a transition for you. Yep. What sets Prestige apart from other cleaning services in Pittsburgh?
Or response.
Love that.
Or turnover. Or dedication.
Right.
Or relation building with the customer.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting the job. It's about building a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, the turnover.
Okay.
We always meet our deadlines.
Love it.
We give high quality service.
Right.
We go above and beyond.
For sure. And actually, you know, I try to do my due diligence. Some of the reviews kind of embody what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
With far as I think specifically a few people listed out carpet cleaning and some of the construction jobs you've done. And that speaks volumes, because a lot of times when I look at people's reviews, I look at the authenticity of what that person's trying to convey. If they're just saying, "Oh, they did a great job," that might, to me, that might translate, "Oh, they know each other." And not to say, you know, it's, you know, but it's more of those long-winded and those detailed reviews that I pay more attention to. I don't know if everybody's as critical as me, but so yeah, I love that, because you have a lot of those very different, detailed and specific reviews that highlight some of the things you just said. When it comes to, you know, how you guys move and how you operate, correct me if I'm wrong, you've done some out-of-state jobs, and that's been
different boroughs. We've been in Blairsville, Monaca, Washington, PA, Vandergrift. We just wrapped up 3 projects in Vandergrift, Monaca, and Washington, PA.
Love that. What's that like? Just because a lot of times some businesses don't have the capacity to expand beyond their original territory.
It was challenging. But we made it we made it work.
Yeah.
It was very challenging.
Right.
It was very challenging. The customers worked with us, so
that's what's up.
The superintendent, the project managers, they worked with us. They wiggled with us.
Yeah.
And we made it happen.
And I love that, because different things like that helps add to your business portfolio, to where now you're able to add that to your profile to say, you know, we've done this, we've done that.
And also too, you know, if we get jobs, you know, like we have a job, we have a building out Zealand and Opal.
Okay.
And so we do have staff that's willing to travel in those different spaces. So, you know, I was able to put our name out, you know, in those different communities as well.
Right. I love that. Yeah. Let's talk about you building teams, because from my personal experience and knowledge of you, you're very intentional about posting and trying to recruit talent in specific communities. I've seen you do one for East Liberty, Hill District. There's a few others that I'm probably not naming. And I love that intentionality, because at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is work and trying to help people find jobs. And a lot of times the resources exist, and you're one of the few small businesses, if I can even classify you as that still, that are very intentional about, you know, making sure that you're recruiting just as heavy as you do with the actual promoting of your business. In my mind, it kind of goes hand in hand.
It all go in hand in hand. And I was just having this conversation with my administration team. Everything is hand in hand.
Right.
It all go hand in hand. I was trying to create. We had contracts in those areas, so I was trying to create. Advertise in those communities. I'm thinking, like, you know, people have children, they can walk to work. You know, it's just easier for everybody.
Right.
You know, and so that's what I was trying to create.
I love that. One of the things that resonate with me is the intentionality of trying to appeal to what people, I guess, value, or I'll say don't value in employment. So for example, like a lot of times you'll highlight specifically the benefits of working with prestige professional cleaning, whereas some cleaning companies that I've observed, they really just stick to the basic kind of job description. There's no real enticement, in my opinion, when they're trying to recruit people. And I feel like that's where I see,
they probably tired.
Yeah.
It's a high turnover business, you know, high turnover business. And, you know, they're probably tired. I'm speaking up for the other people.
I got you. And I don't know. So you know what I mean?
It's probably old and tired, you know, because it's like constant. I have to constantly hire. I did a stretch of 8 months.
Okay.
the hire because I knew that the projects was coming.
Right.
We had just got dropped 6 contracts at one time, and I knew it was coming.
Right.
And so that's why I went the way I went.
Gotcha.
And so also my jobs is as needed.
Right.
So everybody's not going to be available in the morning. Everybody's not going to be available in the evening. So I knew that I had to go hard.
Right. I love that.
To create the team.
Right, for sure.
Because everybody can't come with prestige as well. So you got I have to keep that in mind. Yeah. Everybody's not for prestige in the vision.
Right, for sure. And to your point, what are the qualities that you look for when you're interviewing people, and like, what's that process like?
The willingness.
Okay.
The willingness, and then not only that too. After they do their open interviews, I have them come in and see their level of cleaning, because what I found is people tell you anything. The way this system, the way everything is set up, people's looking for jobs. They need money. They don't care about. I'm a Black woman. I'm out here struggling.
Right.
This is built from the muscle.
Right.
The points that I have to prove to get these employment, these contracts, they don't care about none of that. They just care about the money. So, I have to check out their level of cleaning. Yeah. Their level of cleaning. Yeah. I have to put it to the test.
For sure.
So I'll call them in, on an assignment and have them work, and then I watch their patterns.
Right.
People move with patterns.
For sure.
And also I realized too, with cleaning is either you care or you don't.
Yeah.
It's real simple, but cleaning is an art. Yeah. And people don't get that. For sure. People think like, oh, it's just cleaning. Oh, it's no, it ain't just cleaning.
Right.
It's an art.
No, for sure. And I can speak to this experience because since I was like maybe 15, I've always had multiple jobs. And I've actually been under a cleaning company, maybe it was probably 6-7 years ago. I can't remember. Where it was just like I was out Moon Township doing some cleaning out there for like libraries and municipalities, things like that. And
excuse me,
little things like attention to detail was so pivotal. So I know exactly what you're talking about, because most times if it's just doing the trash, cleaning the toilet, sweeping, mopping, like doing the bare basics, but being very detailed to white, like let's say if it's a library and there's desks, there's different office spaces, trying to find, doing the little extra details goes a long way.
It goes a long way. And it shows.
Yes.
And that's what people don't realize. If you don't hit them corners on the floors, you just do the floors, it's a big difference.
Oh, for sure.
I can come in the room and see a difference.
Right.
Yeah. So I wish I had one of my co-workers here with me, because they always mocking me.
Right.
How I be. But
no, for sure.
It makes a difference. Even, it just makes a difference. Even in a windowsill, you just take and clean the windowsill, but you don't get that corner. Right. It's a difference.
Yeah, and that speaks to your point about when you bring staffers on, they don't understand the relationship between you and the person who's contracted to you or contracted out to you, because they don't care about the reputation of your business. They just care, like you said, getting a paycheck. So when you get those people who have that extra willingness to be like, you know what, I'm going to go the extra mile because I know this is going to help keep the reputation and help us keep this contract. And if they understood that part of it, I would go as far as to say, you'll never be as an employee and having that employee mindset, you'll never be more than that if you can't put yourself in the business acumen space of a business owner and what they have to go through. Because if you understand, like, if we lose this contract, that messes with your money.
It's mindset. Sure. Good work leads to more work.
Yes.
And it's just that simple.
Yep.
They're not paying me to come in here and do mediocre work.
Right.
They're not paying me, and therefore they're not going to have you.
Right.
So good work leads to more work. And that's always my motto.
Yeah. So I want to ask you this, because I recently just worked with a nonprofit, Foundation of Hope. Shout out to them. They did a career fair for gentlemen like coming out of renewal, just out of prison, things of that nature. I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on trying to recruit them to get back into the workforce?
I've been tried, but being as the way my prestige is structured, far as with the as needed, we was having issues with that.
Okay.
We was having issues with that, and not only that too, I was having issues on my end with hiring a man, a supervisor, foreman. So it's not there yet because I really, it's a lot dealing with people that's coming out of incarceration.
Yeah, because they're and I've met a few of them. It was just this past Friday, and a lot of times I'm listening to their story. And mind you, for me, I'm there from a financial service standpoint. I'm trying to talk to them about getting their money right, budgeting. Obviously, they need a job first, so I'm sensitive to that. But I'm also trying, to your point, speak to their mindset. And a lot of times they're great at BSing. And I'll just be blunt and honest, because a lot of times because I'm in the industry that I'm in, a lot of times people talk a good game, and then when they go to test whether they're going to follow through with what came out of their mouth, 9 times out of 10, it's not.
That's why I do.
Yeah.
I need to see your level of cleaning.
Yeah.
Now I've been was trying to reach out for the renewal centers and everything, and I even reached out to Venor Alexandra. Big ups to Venor. I even, because Venor had worked at the welfare office. Because I'm thinking it's me. I'm thinking it's me. From my upbringing, where I come from.
Right.
Why this? And Venor had to tell me, I don't know what it is. It's the guys.
Okay.
He said it's the guys. He said I can say the same thing that the women, my coworker women, would say, and it would be a different response. Because I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't want to be arguing with people. I'm trying to get a job done.
Right.
No. And then once we get to arguing, that level of relation, it's just.
And I mean, to be honest, that kind of speaks to something that I've been trying to figure out as well. So I've joined a lot of men's groups. Shout out to the men's network group. Shout out to Real Men, Real Talk.
And I love seeing that because, just like they say, women need to heal. A lot of black men need to heal as well.
For sure.
It's serious.
So to your point, those are the men that so when I go to these renewal centers, and probably sometime in the future, I'll probably try to look to get my expertise in my services into prisons. Trying to talk to them
because you can start. Because you can start working with them right then and there before they come out and deal with the real world. That'll be dope. That'll be dope.
So I'm working on that. Yep.
That'll be dope.
But the goal would be to speak to what you were saying about the mindset of them, and trying to really give them. And truth be told, it takes a strong black man to put himself in a position to try to. And I don't want to use an improper word here, but to try to, because what people don't understand about black men is very prideful, no matter what our situation is or what we, so from the good ones, the bad ones, we all got pride. We all want respect. So it's different, and this is what I think women don't understand.
And the black men go through so much.
Yes.
Like, it's levels. Yeah. It's levels that the black men endure.
For sure. From society and everything compacted. And not to say women don't, but, there's a level of, one man addressing another man. If that man's not ready to receive another man trying to course correct him or check him, that can lead to black on black crime or, because not every man is receptive to another man trying to put him in a place that he thinks he should be. And that's where I think most women don't understand. Like, no, I can't just walk up to another man and not be in fear of that, how I talk to him. And it could be the most respectful way, very best intentions. And if he's not in the right space to receive that, that can be very confrontational. So for me, I just try to assess and listen and pay a lot of observation to how another man's moving. And if I feel he's not going to be receptive to me trying to give advice or, course correct or whatever you want to call it, I don't.
But that's good that you mentioned that because you're another black man.
For sure.
But see, the other races don't understand that. And so that's when they get to, they so confrontational.
Yeah.
No, it's just that you don't understand the black man.
For sure.
Yeah.
And generations of abuse and trauma that, but we could go down that road.
That's a whole nother issue.
That's a whole nother issue. But No, but I love that because one of the things I will be intentional about moving forward is vetting people for you. And then obviously, I'll put them in your hands to determine whether or not their cleaning's up to par and what that relationship looks like. Because I want to see and help your business continue to thrive as it's been. So even if it's just me using my network to help, get you people, especially we know our people need jobs.
I
Let's quit
appreciate
playing.
it.
So.
I appreciate it. And we're revamping at the time too.
Yeah.
So I call it, we're celebrating 7 years. And so I call this year the level up.
Level up.
The level up. And so
7
we're
years.
7
Congrats to
years.
that.
7 years. We're celebrating May 23rd is our anniversary. And so I label this year as the level up.
Yes.
So we'll be doing a lot of revamping.
Okay.
And a lot of pivoting.
Yeah.
Because I need to get some balance here.
Gotcha. For sure. No, and I love that because a lot of times business owners, and I've noticed this with, I'll just be blunt, a lot of old school business owners who've been in business 10, 15, 20 years, they're reluctant to change. They don't either want to add the technology, they don't want to get the business acumen, they don't want to duplicate themselves to make sure the business is not running them. And so therefore, by the time it's time to pivot and change, they either have to let the business fall or it's not a position to, be sold to somebody else because you didn't run it effectively to where now you can just sell it to somebody and it's duplicatable. And I'm learning that early on in my businesses that, certain businesses that because I have to have licenses and things of that nature, it might not be for me to be able to duplicate, but it is something where I can put in a position to where there's profitability and duplication and others having the same certifications as me to where now I have a pipeline of people that I can now pass this business off to.
And that's what I did. I know just what you're saying. Not only did I get certified in the lifts, I also, Riverside, thank you. I can make big thank you. They also certified my team.
Yeah.
So I don't just want it for me. I be wanting it for my team as well. It's important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
And you speak to that because a lot of times I think one of the things small businesses fail to do, and you kind of just hit on it, is you bring people in to try to build and strengthen your team, but you don't give them the opportunity to feel like growth is going to be a part of their journey. So for me, when I look at, doing catering company and things of that nature, if you bring people in and they feel like, oh, I'm working and building to be able to maybe get promoted to GM to run this for you, delegate, that now strengthens your business because now you can delegate and you can put people you trust and grew with to be able
and I can be working on other things.
Exactly.
But I didn't get there yet.
Yeah.
And so this is
it's an uphill battle. I'm not saying it's easy.
It's a process.
For sure.
And it's a regroup. You gotta go back to square one. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
But you gotta stay in the game.
For sure. Now I want to pivot to the financial side of things. Obviously, I don't need to know, personal numbers, stuff like that, but more so just what the challenges were or the successes were from the standpoint. Let's just keep it simple. Early on, what was the capital like? What was the working like? What were the funds like? Were they were they non-existent?
They was non-existent.
Okay.
We had when I had received one job, and so I didn't have the financial history to get a loan. Okay. So I had went out there and tried to get a $30,000 loan. They turned me down and gave me offered me $6,000.
Gotcha.
And so I didn't take it because that's not what I asked for.
Right.
And so what I realized in that process right then and there that I needed to put in the work.
Right.
And that's what I did. And so I was working 2 jobs. This is why I'm not fond of partnership because, nobody put in what I put in. But I was working 2 jobs. BizFit, and managing 2 properties.
Right.
2 complexes. I had one employee. He was working the 2 complexes.
Right.
And so I got my numbers up, and then I went back and asked for the 30,000, and I got it, and I was able to get um, the first the first um, vehicle for Prestige.
Nice.
And I was able to
Through
have
your business?
capital.
I love that. Yeah.
So I think that was okay. So 2019, I tried to get the capital. I think I didn't get the capital until like 2020. It was
Okay.
something like that in that area.
Right. Gotcha. Now,
So I had to put the work in. I had to show
yeah,
a whole year of financials,
Yep.
and I put the work in, and they gave it to me.
Love that. And two things I want to kind of pinpoint what you just said. So one is a lot of times business owners get too happy writing stuff off from tax purposes, and then they go to show or try to get a loan, and they haven't shown enough revenue or damn near no revenue to say, but I made this, made that. No,
I literally had one job, like one house job.
Okay.
Like they didn't, and once I sat down and understood, I didn't take it personal. They looking at me like, okay, everybody's doing, because at this time,
a lot of people had
everybody have cleaning companies.
Right.
So what's she doing?
Right.
What's she, what I mean?
Yep.
She only got one job, what I'm saying? This could be a failed situation.
For sure.
So I had to look at everything.
Right.
I had to look at everything. I didn't take it personal.
Yes.
It motivated me.
I love that. And most people need to understand that mindset needs to be there, because you will face rejection. And if you're ready to quit and you don't see the other side of it, that's where you kind of get yourself in trouble, to where you're like, oh,
see, I look at everything.
Right.
Like, that's what I do, to break everything down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's saturated with cleaning companies. That's why I always tell my team, you gotta stand out. You gotta be different.
Love that.
You can't, like, it's saturated. Everybody got a cleaning company.
For sure. And I love that you understand your industry, because then you can speak to that, and you can try to.
It don't intimidate me. It motivate me.
Love that.
Because we're Prestige.
Yep. Love that.
And so getting back to the financials, I took in one of my mentors. She helped me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Always. She helped me, and also too, like I said, I was working 2 jobs.
Right.
So that's how I was able to pay my employees off of working for someone else.
Yeah.
I was punching someone else's clock.
And I love that.
Tore me
that's
up.
That's a level of sacrifice that people don't understand.
And that's what angers me. That's what gets me, like, I be angry, because I be,
I'm doing all this for you.
You don't understand the sacrifices that I really made to get here. And so that's what I be needing people to understand that work under me.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that you can appreciate this. This was never just given to me.
Right.
This was hard work. This was sacrifice, and this was sleeping in my truck.
Right. And that's where I get a little frustrated with frustrated with people who don't understand you trying to come in, and then you talk about you want to do your own thing. You want to be a business owner. You want to be an entrepreneur. But I've seen that, bro, you won't even take the extra mile doing this. No way in hell you about to go off and start your own.
Right.
I've already seen your work ethic. It's not there.
And also too, I believe you have to be a good soldier before you're a good boss.
Right.
And so I can honestly say, like, because I worked for an African American, India. She gave me my first chance once I changed my life around. I love India. Rest in peace, India.
Yes.
I worked for her for 7 years. And never the things that I go through, I never put her through. I stood by her regardless. And was it rough? Yes, it was challenging. And I always make it a point to let them know I was getting paid 3 months. I had to wait 3 months after because I was doing home care with her. Yeah. I had to wait 3 months to get paid for a job that we did, because she had to get paid from the state. You know what I'm saying? So it's
they move when they want to with the money.
Yeah, I eat last.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You eat before me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I be trying to instill all of this in them, and I also understand too, you know what I'm saying? Before you be a boss, you got to be a good soldier.
Yes.
It's levels to it.
Exactly. Love that. So getting back to the financials, when PPPs were a thing, Were you able to take advantage of
No,
that?
ain't that crazy?
I know.
And I really had a business.
I kind of knew the answer, but I just wanted to get it on
I
record.
really had a business, and guess what? They responded to me 15 months later. 15 months later.
Yep.
Not that thankful that I had the sense to go ahead and get trained for COVID, because that carried us through.
Right.
The COVID disinfect, because that carried us through. That we was able to pivot.
Yeah. And truth be told, we keep getting examples of history showing us that these systems ain't for us.
And still we play.
Yeah. I'm like, that's another, like, there's a litany of examples of these systems aren't for us. And we don't understand that.
And I be saying that too. Like, if COVID didn't change you, I don't know what will.
Right.
Because you seeing right there,
example after example. But I try to be hopeful. So, but moving on. So, let's talk about. You talked about you did a business plan. Projections are typically a part of that process.
That's the foresee.
Yeah. What was that like for you?
It was a learning process.
Right.
And so too, like, not only did I have my business strategist, and shout out to Ray, Mr. Ray. Even though I had paid a business strategist, I also had my other mentor review his work. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm new to this business. I have to understand. I was constantly in the mindset of learning, and still.
Right.
That's one of the things that I love about Prestige, because it constantly keeps me learning. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly revamping, even if it's not. I'm constantly learning,
for sure,
and constantly reaching out. And so what I had learned was too, you had to research. And that's when my grandma used to always say that to me when I started my business. Did you research? And I used to be like, why is she being so negative about what I'm trying to do?
Right.
But, every time I get knocked in my head, I go back to thinking about my grandmother.
Yeah.
And so I researched.
Right.
And so how do you get the projections it's really it's really believing in yourself. Right. So we in year 25. Right. So it's like you have to project, this is what I'm making in 26. That's basically the example.
Yeah.
And so that's the motivation right there. Right. And so I had to research on how you do the projected numbers, and that was challenging.
Yeah.
And so my assistant had to research, because what I found too, and I'm glad that I had my one mentor review, because you have to be careful when you get other people to do your stuff for you, because the way it was written out is it was a man.
Ooh, right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because he's writing it, but he's a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we had to do a lot of editing, and that's where my learning came in.
Got you. And I love
my teaching.
Yeah. And I love that you shared that, because a lot of times you might be using someone who's seasoned or professional, and that doesn't necessarily mean that
it's not tailored to you.
Yes.
And so when you have these professionals read, when you're trying to go and you get capital, and you're trying to have these professionals read, they looking at this like this was done. Right. This was done not by her. Right. This is not what's going on.
Right.
And so when I do the projections, I call it my motivation.
Love that. Yeah.
Because it's foresee.
And truth be told, I don't even think we brought this up, but that's kind of how me and you met in my time in banking. I became your banker for a brief stint. But one of the things I loved about you, because I was very intentional when I got business owners that came into my office, is really trying to cultivate. We'll get to your accounts. That's the easy stuff. Is really trying to cultivate a relationship to where, and that's why I try to teach a lot of people in our community to look beyond just going in there for a service. I'm like, because at the end of the day,
it's bigger than that.
It's
bigger than that.
One, I am someone who is a consumer. Two, I'm someone who has a network. And three, I'm someone who comes across a ton of people. And you were very intentional. You had your business cards. Like we really chopped it up. And while your account takes maybe all of 30 minutes to actually get one open, we was maybe talking for an hour and a half. Like we built a genuine friendship and relationship that carry on. Here we are today.
And here we are.
And that's where a lot of business owners, I try to teach them, you just look at banks as the end all be all. And I'm like, no, they are a tool and you don't use them as such. You use them just to, they hold my money. They, I have to have a business account, so I'm gonna just go with them. You do not check these relationships annually. Every institution I bank with, they have to work for my relationship. If all they do is hold my money, that ain't enough. I get a wall safe to do that. Now I won't earn nothing on my money, but they're doing the same thing. Hell, you don't earn money on those savings anyway in any of these institutions. So really vetting these people and building a relationship. Hell, I have relationships with institutions to where they send me business. I have a relationship.
I just seen one of my bankers who just gave me a loan. I pulled over yesterday on my way to my photo shoot, and we chopped it up for half an hour. And I'm telling them, this is what I need, this is what I need. And so I got to text them too this Sunday and ask them to bring me the flyer because he like, come on down, we're going to get you some business. Because like I said, I'm revamping. And so I ran into my banker on his off day.
Love that.
And we chopped it up. We spoke. We spoke and I go meet up with him on Thursday.
For sure.
To meet up with other business owners.
Love that. And that's the thing. We got to be very intentional about the people we work with. All bankers aren't created equal. These people are trained how to, I don't even want to use the word manipulate, but they're trained to deal with the public and deal with people. It's those who really care where they start.
That's what separates.
That's what separates
and
them.
That's what I
and
try
that's where
to,
I was.
That's where I try to build around because that's where you come with the relationship.
The relationship. Let these bankers be an advocate for you as opposed to like if you come in all hot and bothered, I promise you that's not getting you nowhere.
And
having a genuine relationship
and he reminded me too yesterday. He said, I never had to worry about you. And that's big for me. You know what I'm saying? That says a lot to me. Like, he's like, I never had to worry about you.
Right.
And so
And
because
the other thing,
I work hard.
And the other thing is people get, especially our people, I'll say our people, and I can speak to this personally. We get too enamored with the name on the building. You do realize those people who work there are the ones who are making things happen for that institution. I'm loyal to X. I don't even want to give them no free publicity, but I love this institution. I love that institution. You do realize that's just a name. The people who work,
they don't get that.
The branch manager, the personal banker, the teller. Those are the people you should love because they're the ones.
Those are the ones that's pushing.
Yeah, the name on the building is just the name on the building. Yeah,
and so like
they're a representation of. That's why they're in that position. So don't get enamored with the name that's on top of the building. That's what they want you to do. That's blind loyalty. I fall in love with the individuals who I could call up. Hey, bro, I had an overdraft fee. Can you help me out? Those are the people who put the work in. That's who
put the work in.
Yeah.
That's who put the real work in.
Yeah. The name on the building, that's just that's the corporation. So yeah. For those who don't know that and you have a blind loyalty and allegiance to the corporation who really just sees you as a number, that's why they pay the employees to make you feel all warm and bubbly so that way you can now pledge your allegiance to the overlord. So that just be irking me when people, I love them. Like, no, it was Johnny or Jim or whatever. It was whoever you deal with. It was them who put the work
then
in.
He was able to tell me the one who gave me my first loan from that institute where she was going. He said, maybe you can go there and get your line of credit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I said, I love her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's genuine. Yeah. It's not. It's genuine.
Yeah. So when you find a banker like that, lock on to him, baby. That's how I was. Shoot. That's why I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can do
one
this.
of my loan officers saw me because she's doing, that's my problem too. I'm too transparent. I need to have that relationship. I just spoke with one of my favorite loan officers. She just started her organization business, and I just passed on her information. So that's how relationships go. Yeah, it just don't stop with you help me, and I don't like one-sided relationships either. Right. So You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hopefully, we could get more people to start thinking with a different mindset when they're dealing with these financial institutions. But
people dealing with people, period.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So community impact. I understand that you did, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sip and
Connect.
Yes. We did one last year. I loved it. You had me, Tayon Mitchell, TJ Johnson. Ooh, you had Ebony. I'm with their name.
Grissom.
Thank you. Grissom. Yes.
Real estate.
Yes. I haven't seen you in a while, Ebony. That's why.
She probably working on that real estate.
Oh yeah, she making me. Oh yeah, I love her. She out, and she in multiple cities, so she doing her thing. Who all am I missing? Is that all we have? Rich. We
had Ed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you got them. So yeah, you, and I love that because it was very intentional having many people in one space, and we all brought a different level of expertise, yes, and then just different level of energy, and it was a room full of people who was just like, we were vibing on one another, and we were collaborating. And I enjoyed that so much. And I appreciate you for putting that together because the food was bomb.
Who was there?
Kate, I forget.
Brandy. I just seen her.
Yeah.
Northside.
Yeah.
I just seen her Brooklyn.
Yeah. But those Sips and Connects, that's just speak to your level of commitment to community. So I wanted to at least bring that up. One, to talk about when's the next one, and then two, what sparked you putting those together?
This year we taking a break.
Okay. No wrong with that.
Rich was asking me last year, well, when is the next one? And I said, hold on, Rich. I gotta take care of me a little bit while I take care of the business. I done did the community thing, and I'm still, but this year also too, I wanted to start taking care of myself a little bit better. Yes. And so I'm still I still struggle in that area because I'm a people person, but I'm still trying to take care of me, because without me, there will not be no prestige. So, so we'll probably resume back to that next year. Okay. I have to strategize, the theme and everything. What sparked it was, I had vowed once I got into position, an entrepreneurship role, that I would pour back into the community. Right. And so that's what I did. Yeah. So that's how that was created. Okay. And so also I be needing people to see it's not just being a boss, it's other things that come along with it. Right. We no longer, once you become your role as an owner, founder, president, whatever you want to call yourself, and you step out of the corporate world, you're stepping away from somebody else building your 401. You're stepping away from somebody else doing your health care. You're stepping away from that cushion. Yeah. That's for real. It's a safety net. Yeah. And so you have to create that for yourself if you're going to be out here as an entrepreneur on your own. Absolutely. Yep. So I just want to. Very well said. Because I recently experienced that myself, and I had to pivot, and I had to make some adjustments, and I had to set up some disciplines to keep me in check. And and it'd be the little discipline, because you figure you go to the store, and this is me. This is my experience. I'll go to the store and I spend about $6 a day on coffee, and then you got my girlfriend saying, one of my girlfriends, shout out to her, she's a real estate agent, and she be like, and you can make your own coffee at home, right? That's me too. And so I'm still working on that small goal. Yeah. And you figure, 6 times what, 30? What is that? Ooh, 6 times 30? Yeah, you got us doing math on that. What is that, 180? Yeah. 180? Yep, get us right. 180 a month. Like, you think about it, if you buy your own coffee, your own filter, just to double check, you can save that money. Yep. And here I'm drinking Dunkin'. Thank you, Tyler. Yep, 180. Yep, you right. Yep. We just double checking. Hey, I ain't sure this is the tools and the technology. But yeah. So my girlfriend, she get on me about that, and so if you take that little, change your mindset and discipline, it goes a long ways, because if you think about it, what's 180 times 10?
Mm-hmm.
That's 1,800.
Yep.
You know, then you add the 2 extra months. So it's just like you can play with a lot of things, and you have to.
Absolutely.
You have to.
And I love that, because that speaks to a lot of what I try to address. The foundational piece of finances is budgeting and tracking your expenses.
And so it's hard.
Yeah.
It's just so hard when you're used to living a certain way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. You have to keep on being on yourself.
Right.
You know?
For sure.
It's constant.
Yep. No, I love that. And so just that community aspect that you bring to your business is so pivotal. I think that's why you have an amazing following like you do. And people genuinely, when they speak of you, is always good vibes, always good energy, is always positive. So I use that as something I can use is, giving back to community helps advance your business. That builds true loyalty. And one thing I love about small business is we know who we are. So that's where you should be giving your loyalty to the small business owner, not these big corporations who you don't know the CEO, or it is publicized who they are from that standpoint, but it's not just them making decisions. It's a group of people. And 9 times out of 10, they don't look like you. So therefore, they have stereotypes and biases that help guide their decisions. Whereas a small business owner, you can get to build a genuine relationship with that person directly.
And I went back to my hometown when I created my business.
Yes.
And so that's where not all, because we everywhere. Yeah. Thank goodness. Thank the Lord.
Right.
And the customers. But I went directly back to my hometown.
Yeah.
And that's where my first situation came from. My second situation came from, and that's where I went into my hometown and hired. I went to my hometown and got opportunity.
Right.
So
for sure, and that's great.
And I got to see my elders. That's the part I love too. We was on our contract a couple weeks ago, and I ran into my old neighbors from Summers Drive. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, like sure. It's so exciting just to see my elders, and it's just I try to find a different goodness in things.
Yeah. So last question before we move on to the last topic I want to address. From a financial standpoint, what are some advice you would give to a small business owner who's trying to come into starting their business from a financial standpoint, or someone who's currently already established business and maybe struggling with getting financial capital?
It's credit.
Yes.
It's credit. You have to keep your credit up, and it's so hard. Like, it's so hard, because my credit was yo-yo. It was yo-yo because, like I said, I was paying my employees out of pocket, so I had to sacrifice paying my bills. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So,
and that messes up your credit.
It messes up your credit, and so it's credit.
I got you.
I would say credit.
And I love you sharing that, because I feel like that's my purpose, is to help guide small business owners, actually people who look like us. That's why I do this podcast, to say, stop putting the onus only on yourself. Start getting a financial advisor, start getting partnered up with Riverside Innovation, the Pitt SBDC, a lot of these organizations that,
because it's not just to a relationship. Because when I was talking to one of my lenders yesterday, and he said I talk to everybody. Right. You know what I'm saying? So if they talk to everybody, you go to put in your application, they need to know who you are, so you don't think that they're just like us, like we're calling about different people, asking about different people. They're calling about you too. For sure. And so, because you have some institutions like the URA, they'll help you with a microloan if your credit is not so good, but you show the numbers that you work in. Right. So it's just all about knowing how
and
to
be
move.
intentional to ask about resources. Like, oh my God, there's so many.
You have to
resources.
do the footwork.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's so much, and that's one thing I had mentioned to Sip and Connect. If you're not like in a time when I had wanted to start my business years ago, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have these resources for us.
They've grown exponentially.
It's so many resources out here. Do you have to do the work? Yes. To get the reward? Yes.
You just gotta show up most times.
That's all you have to do.
Put the damn PlayStation 5 down.
That's all
Stop
you have to
making
do.
excuses. I'm an introvert.
They have, but people don't know this. I am too.
And it's not just, and I love that. And I don't mean, I'm an introvert. I don't mean like you don't be an introvert because that's not, but stop letting that be a crutch to you. Mm-hmm. You say it as a badge of honor, okay, but that's gonna keep your ass struggling.
Mm-hmm. And I go through my stuff. You know what I'm saying? I be behind my tent, getting myself together because I do better when I'm alone. Right. You know, so a lot of people, because you know I'm loud and all that stuff, they think they know me, but I'm an introvert too, and I do better by myself. I like my alone time. I learned. Coming, getting older, I need my alone time. For sure. It's like a necessity.
But I love that you don't let that define you from the standpoint of being successful with your business. Mm-hmm. Because
I ain't have no choice. Right. Like my business need people.
Yep. Love that. So looking back, what's the greatest challenge you've overcome? Because now we're getting into 7 years. May 23rd, we're doing some celebrations. Mm-hmm. When you look back, what was one
Capital? Capital has always been one of my main challenges because my mind, anybody that know me know, I'm a hustler. Yeah. And my mind is bigger than my pocket. Right. So capital has always been one of my struggles because my mind tell me I'm taking over Pittsburgh. Right. But my pockets say you can't.
I love that. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Love that. That's my main. That's my main. That's my main. I want you to know. But they know.
That's awesome.
That's my main. That's been my main challenges and employees. Yep. Employees.
Sure. And I'm gonna pull up so people know how to find you. Because I always want to be intentional. Go to
www.pressprocleaners.com and also we can be reached at 412-712-2426 and we're in the marketing of getting new contracts, new customers. We're looking for recurring buildings and also more construction clean.
Yes. And you are always looking for willing workers to
co-workers, employees, yes. And it'd be good if you have a vehicle.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we can talk about that. I'm gonna get you off on this last question.
But we will get you to the job if necessary.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The goal, when we talk about future goals, what's the future?
I would love the franchise, and work with other business owners. That's the goal. Okay. I've been on that. Yeah. But I had a couple hurdles with that. Working with other cleaning companies. It was disappointing. Gotcha. Because I'm thinking, they're a business, so they think like me, and that was not the case. It wasn't the case. I found too, COVID had everybody thinking they can do a cleaning company, and and so
they may not be around anymore.
It stopped me because. It stopped me. It paused me. I ain't gonna say stop me because I'm about to get back on it. Right. I'm about to reach out to a young lady that I see on Facebook. Big shout out to Mika. Yeah. I'm about to reach out to her and see if we can do some work together. If it come available. All right. and I ain't even reach out to her yet.
Well,
But she's on my to-do list.
Yeah.
Because I see the work that she do, the cleaning that she do. So she just got her LLC. So I'm all about the collab.
Yes.
I'm all about it. I've been collabing since for 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
But like I said, I came across some issues, and it turned me sour to deal with other businesses because they didn't have that same mindset.
Right.
I don't know what they was thinking. That's on them.
Yeah. No, and truth be told, real quick, I love that you acknowledge that, because I think when we talk about that crab in a barrel mentality, I think that's where it stems from. We let one bad experience with someone who looks like us or our people turn us off for the rest of our lives.
I dealt with about 4 other cleaning companies, Black women-owned cleaning companies, and it no.
Yeah. Bad experiences is part of the deal. Like any true business owner understands, every deal's not going, every collab, everything's not going to work out. But you can't be so emotional to where you stop. Yeah.
So that's why I said it paused me,
because it's about you being better at your vetting process, or you taking extra precautions. That doesn't mean stop working with and collaborating with other.
See, when I see me working with a contractor, I see me as, it's like me getting my piece.
Right.
So that's the goal, right? And so when I hire another contractor, I don't want to come check behind you. I don't want to provide you my supplies. Right. I don't want to have to. If that's the case, I can still deal with my employee.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was part of the revamp.
Yeah.
To go ahead and start doing it again.
Right.
Because like I said, I want to start balancing myself. Because prestige just took over my whole life.
Right.
Not half of it, my whole life.
Absolutely.
And so I want to start balancing things. So the reach out to her was part of my to-do this week. I'm like I said, we're revamping.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it to another level.
I love that. So, hey. All right, y'all. That was a great interview.
Thank you.
This is Angelica.
And I was calm.
Grant. You were fantastic. This is Angelica Grant. I want to thank you again for joining me. You are someone who inspires me, just the way you move on social, just what you're doing with your business. So I was super excited to have you on because for me,
it was like it was meant.
Yeah,
I know. Because I was telling people I was supposed to be somewhere else. I wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
When I ran into you.
Yes.
And I was like, you just walked to me. Yeah. And I'm like, hold on. I said, hold on. I can't even be mad what didn't happen today. Yeah. I said, because I bumped into Tyler and it was just,
Yeah, and I had been meaning to get you for months. So
I know. We talked about that, and it just was like, and then you said Sunday. I'm like,
let's go. But yes, Prestige Professional Cleaning LLC. Make sure you guys tap in, and as always, like, subscribe, and share. This is the Financial Literacy with TC podcast. Hopefully, we talked about some things that you can aspire to implement into your life or be able to relate to and draw some connections and some conclusions to be able to better yourself. Financial Literacy with TC. We'll see you on the next one.
I'm getting money, you see me. Stack it up to the ceiling. If you're looking for me, you know just where to find me. I'm on a pod with TC, Oh, I'm on a pod with TC,